that should be a really good live. So make sure that you're getting your water in today. And then also make sure you're getting your vitamins. So if you're taking your vitamin today, Anna Barry girl, how are you? Thank you for joining. Chris, I can't wait, man. It's going to be a good time. So if you don't know what Bariatric Chris is talking about, April 21st, Bariatric Chris is actually coming to Boston, and he's going to be joining me at Fenway Park for the Climb for a Cause. So Climb for a Cause is run by Project Place in Boston, and they are a nonprofit entity that their mission is to end homelessness in Boston. So we are taking part in their second annual Climb for a Cause at Fenway Park, and we will be climbing the stairs for charity at Fenway. The goal that we set for our particular, for our group is $2,500. So we are still looking for people to join Team BME, and to also, if you're interested in donating towards the cause, which we would greatly appreciate, you could find the link in our bio and just find the Climb for a Cause link, and you can take a look at it and get all the info you want on the event itself. Hey, what's happening, Bestie? How are you, friend? So the other event that is going on, and I think that the entire community knows about, is happening November 7th through the 10th. And that will be at Paradise Point Retreat. Or, Paradise Point Resort in San Diego. And that is the Bariatric Society Retreat. It's going to be a really great time. They're going to have guest speakers. They're going to have a whole bunch of activities for everyone. And if you take a look at, we have a link in our bio for the for $25 off the actual cost of the ticket. So every little bit counts. So you can take a look at that. And if you want more info on the Bariatric Society Retreat, take a look at the Bariatric Society website and check that out. So it is 8:01 actually right now. And you know what that means. It's time for the Bari Male Experience. So just want to shout out some people right now. So Bari Male Experience, every Taco Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific. Also check out our sister chat on Sundays, Talk Bari to Me, with the very, very, very beautiful VSG Bestie. You could also catch those times 8, 7, 6, and 5 on Mondays with our friends Anna and Kate on Bari Unfiltered. And then on Wednesdays, who can forget the Bari Sisters? They are on at 5:30 West Coast time. And then obviously 8:30 East Coast time over here, and then all the times in between. I'm not as good as Rab with the time, so I'll try. But yeah, so today is open panel for the men. We're trying to get a little bit more involvement with the men in the community. So if you know any bariatric men or any weight loss men on a weight loss journey, send them our way. We would love to have them be a part of the community with us and just be a part of, the journey with us. We have a lot of support here from our female bariatric friends, but again, 20% of all bariatric patients are just men. So we are trying to get as many men as possible, and we are trying to get as many men possible to show up for the bariatric retreat. So that's part of the $25 off code. We are promoting for Bariatric Bro, 100 men at the bariatric retreat. That is his goal for this year, and we are in full support of that. We would love to get as many men as possible to show up to the retreat. So if you know any men interested in bariatric surgery, or if they are bariatric patients themselves, send them our way. Give them the link for the Bariatric Society retreat. Let them know this is what our goal is. We are trying to get people out there, and it's just a good time. It's such a great vibe. Bariatric Society throws the best party if you've never been to one. So check that out. AJ, welcome to the live, brother. Thank you for the likes. So today we are talking restrictions in social settings. So again, social settings, not always the greatest thing, especially this time of year as it starts to get warmer. There's barbecue seasons. There's so many cookouts. We have 4th of July, Memorial Day, even Labor Day. But it's that social season where everyone gets together, everyone gathers, there's pool parties, everyone's out having a good time, and pretty much there is food at your disposal, at your fingertips, and temptation runs rampant everywhere. So last year, I did not have that big of an issue because the restriction I had was still fairly new. I was probably, I want to say around April, I was only a couple months out. And by the end of the summer, I was about 6 or 7 months out. And I didn't have a huge problem with, going to a barbecue and just having a small amount to eat. And so my restriction really helped me when I was there. And I've noticed that over the course of the year, now being 13 months out, I actually went to my very first cookout on Saturday. And it was quite interesting. I definitely noticed I could eat more. I wasn't as selective as I was last year. I think I pretty much was like, I can eat whatever I want. So I pretty much put what I wanted on my plate. And I noticed that I could eat more, and I didn't really listen to my restriction. My wife was texting me at some point, telling me that I should stop eating, and I would just basically say, "Oh, I'm fine," even though I know that my stomach was full, and I wasn't listening to my cues. It was always, "Oh, just one more bite. Oh, just one more bite," and I think I ran into a little trouble. I didn't dump, I didn't get sick, I didn't get nauseous, but it was noticeable that I wasn't listening to my cues. So I'm really interested in having some guys come up on the panel this year and actually talk about what they want to do or how they're going to prepare for this upcoming season of social events with barbecues and family outings, camping. How are you going to prepare for events where there's going to be large amounts of food? If you're far enough out, or if you're very early in your journey, what are you going to do to prepare to be at these events? Are you going to bring your own bariatric snacks? Are you going to bring a scale? Are you just going to eat what you want? Are you going to listen to the cues, or are you just going to kind of push your limits to see how far you can go? So it's almost 8:10 now. So if you want, any of the guys that are actually down in the panel right now, if you would like to hop up, send out your requests now. I'd really appreciate you guys coming up and sharing your thoughts on this very interesting topic that I feel like most of us may struggle with within a year. Jason, what's happening, brother?
What's going down, bro?
How are you?
I'm doing well. We just wrapped up the struggle bus over on Instagram, so I thought I'd come hang out with my fellas.
We greatly appreciate that, man. We always love having you up on panel.
I appreciate you having me, man.
So, what do you feel? What are your feelings on the whole restriction in the social settings?
I think a lot of it really depends on what stage you're in, like what you were talking about, kind of how far along you are. And really, it also, to me, it boils down to how honest you are with yourself, what you can accomplish, like what going into it. Oh, I appreciate it, AJ. Um, it really depends on kind of what your intentions are going into it. We talk a lot about like planned eating events. So if it's something that you know is coming up that you really want to kind of go in, you can adjust around it. If you eat a little better, coming up on, like if you're going for lunch, if you have a light breakfast and plan on having a light dinner, you may kind of, you can kind of hedge your bets a little bit on lunch if that's kind of a lunchtime situation. If it's something that you can't trust yourself with, because trusting yourself is key in this journey, like it's invaluable in this journey. If you if you kind of are feeling you're starting to have tendencies to overdo it in situations like that, you may want to go ahead and bring snacks pre-prep, make sure that you eat kind of your more balanced bariatric meal before you go. Then that way you're not as tempted, and you may just get a little bit of what you do, what you want. I myself subscribe to, even though I'm 4 years post-op VSG, 4 months post-op revision to SATI. What I do for myself is I do the tablespoon method. Everything that I want gets a tablespoon, and that's it. My plate looks just little dollops everywhere. I get what I want. I make sure, myself, I'm staying away from bread because gluten intolerance is a thing for me post-op. Never had it before, but post-op, it's a thing. So I just kind of make sure that when I do what I do, I stick to the tablespoon method, because that's what's going to keep me from going way off the deep end, because I know how I do, and I will push myself past limits that are healthy for me, and I'm going to ruin the rest of my day. I'm not going to be able to hang out with the people I want to hang out with or socialize, which is another thing that I've really become more aware of, is that I'm not so focused on foods as much as I used to be. Is I get way more public interaction and quality one-on-one time with the people that I really want to hang out with than I do worrying about what I'm about to put on my plate. So those two things working, using those things together has helped me tremendously for events like this.
Yeah, I noticed that I had to remove myself from like the kitchen area and move myself outside. We were throwing beanbags through. We ended up playing some games out there that kind of get my mind off of like eating. But I noticed that when I had the food in front of me, it was, oh, cheeseburger. Oh, I can take one more bite. Or, oh my God, they've got brownies. And I'm like, sweets was always my biggest thing, that I was always like my weakness. And cookies, cake, it was just, if it was there, I couldn't have enough of it.
Same exact thing. I did when I talked about this a long time. Like, I think it's probably still up on my TikTok. I did. I was on my pre-op diet for my revision, and we catered a Christmas party at work, and I was in charge of setting everything up. So it's just me in that room with a pan full of brownies. Yeah. An industrial pan full of brownies. I'll bite your damn arm off for a brownie. And it was just me. And I was like, that, you talk about a come to Jesus meeting? That's when that happened, because I was like, nobody would know if I plowed through like half of this tray right now. Yeah. Like, I could just take a plate and put out as many as I can and just say, hey, this is what we got. And the rest of them would be in my guts. And I was like, but I'm not going to do that, because not only am I cheating myself, but like, why would I start that way? Like, I hadn't even made it to the revision yet, and that's not the way I wanted to start out. So that's why I really had to have that time frame to sit back and be like, man, look, that's not the road we want to go down.
Yeah, I like the food noise is real, and being a year out, where kind of that restriction is has eased up, and it's like, oh, I got a little bit more room for this. I've noticed that the food noise is a lot louder, and the choices. And I didn't start off like this season of barbecue season, probably on the right foot. I didn't overdo it, but I already know that I've been making the wrong choices. So now that I know that the next one I go to, I need to be a lot more mindful about like my selection and the situations that I put myself in, maybe remove myself from them. So, Juan, how are you, my friend?
I am great. Nice to be with you guys.
Thank you for coming up. It's great to have you up. This is the most I've
Thank you.
seen you
Thank
up
you.
on panels in the last 2 days. So
Oh,
it's great to hear your
I've been up a
voice.
little bit.
So, what are your feelings on it? How are you going to prepare this year?
So I just hit 8 months out. I'm doing great actually. Um, right now I'm on my elliptical, but I'm doing pretty good. I'm 8 months. I just 8 months. I'm doing pretty good with everything. I'm in the 8 month stall, which really sucks. I'm trying to break that. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
started at 300. I'm about to hit. I want to get below 200, but it's not getting there.
again, it's all patience, my friend. I mean, the stalls happen, and we plateau at certain points. Your body's adjusting. If you notice that, if it's something, maybe you need to make some adjustments. Adjust your water, your protein, maybe your just your active lifestyle routine. Maybe make a few changes. Maybe shock your system a little bit, and maybe change up, add a little carbs or something to it. But talk to your nutritionist, talk to your doctor, see if there's something that you might need to do, and just kind of like walk through your day and see if you're doing anything different, or maybe you need some more calories. You know, shocking your system a little bit and making those small little adjustments could help you depending on how long your stall is. If it's a couple weeks, typical, normal. If you're going into like a month and a half or something, maybe you might need to make a few changes. But stick with it, man. It's gonna happen. It'll fall off. You're still in that real big honeymoon phase, and you seem to be on the right track right now, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I saw a couple of people talking about food noise in the comments. I made a post about it today in the Berry Nation membership community about food noise. It's adjusted for me in a weird way that I had to really kind of take hold of that I wasn't prepared for. Um, I started realizing that I was take like I would prepare, I would meal prep, take my lunch, take my snacks, do everything. So it was all within my plan, like bariatric alignment, all the things. And it was so wild to me because in my mind, I would sit there at work at my desk and I'm doing stuff and I'm thinking about is, oh, I got my protein shake down. Oh man, but I can't wait for to be able to drink my Gatorade. Oh, get that Gatorade down. Now I can't wait to be able to eat my fruit that's gonna come in like an hour. And then I'm so focused on the fruit, and then I get to the fruit, and then it's like, oh, but then I have a protein bar that I'm going to get a little bit later, and then it's like, oh, well, then after that, I'm going to be able to eat my lunch. And so by that point in time, like I'm so focused and fixated on the fact that I just what's next, and I wasn't getting work done. Like I was so consumed with it. So it can happen in so many different ways. People just think it's like, oh, well, if you really just focus on wanting a burger or really focusing on wanting, pizza or whatever it is, like, and it's not just that. Like you can be super hyper focused on any type, like the food noise can come to you in many different forms. And
Hmm.
that to me is what really got me, and I wasn't prepared for it. So I had to really think about that, and I really had to make a plan and formulate it and sit back and say, okay, so tomorrow when I go into work, which was today, I was like, we're going to work, we're not going to worry about it. So I put everything that was in my lunch bag, I kept it in the refrigerator so I didn't have access to it, because if I can see it, that's where I start focusing, kind of fixating on it, and that's when I'm going to just continue to want it. So I had to just put it completely out of my sight and realize that I had to stop work and get up and go across the damn office to get it. And then I wasn't as worried about it because I was focused more on working and getting my work out of the way. And I realized not only did I not do it as much, I ended up drinking probably twice the water I would have had I have been super focused on eating the food.
What's up, fella?
Justice, what's happening, brother?
I'm sick. I'm sick.
No.
I'm sick. It's my first time being sick since gastric sleeve, and I'm struggling. I'm actually gonna make a TikTok about it shortly because I'm like, it's my first time. I didn't think that it would be like a thing, but it's different because like we already have trouble like getting our fluids in, and then like when you're sick, it's all about getting your fluids in, and like I'm struggle busting. You know what I mean? And I feel like fat me can handle being sick more than skinny me. You know what I mean? Like, cause we always get cold. We get cold anyway. Well, let me stop speaking for everybody, but I get cold now all the time. And then now with the chills, I'm a big baby. I'm a big baby right now.
Yeah.
But I just want to hop on real quick and show you guys my love. In regards to the barbecue, usually I'm 10 months now, so I know my body at this point, so I know like what works, and so I'll do the proteins. I can't do chicken wings for some reason. My body doesn't like chicken wings, but like my body loves red meat, so steak, pork chops. I can do that, so I just load my plate up like with a steak or like a sausage, and just be nibbling on that. You guys said your vice is like sweets. Mine has always been pretzels. Anything
Crunchy.
crunchy, really anything crunchy, but really pretzels. Like, and I've been having trouble because like people that love me, like they know I like pretzels, so they're bringing me pretzels. Like my dad's girlfriend brought me an Easter basket. She brought my kids Easter baskets, and then she brings me an Easter basket, and she puts a big ass bag of pretzels in it. Why would you do this? Like, why would you do? Why would you do this? So did I eat the pretzels? Yes, I've been eating them. So now I had to tell people, please take it somewhere. Take it, get it away from me. So it's just knowing your vices. You know what I mean? Knowing like what is your weak points, and mine is definitely like crunchy, salty. Anything crunchy, salty is gonna get me every time. So
Yeah, I was bad about that. Oreos is another bad one for me. Like I had to vacate from all the Oreos because I will eat. Now I am not just a eat one Oreo kind of person. I will eat the whole damn bag. Whatever you have to give me, I will eat those, and then I will go in search of the rest of them because I know where they go. I know where they are. I know where they live, and I will go find them.
Yeah. So, do you notice? It's not so much like the problem as far as like why I like what I eat, because I mean I filled my plate full of protein. My problem is that I still have the habit of eating fast. It's something that I have not
Yes, I agree.
committed myself to like doing religiously, which I really should, because when I eat slower, I tend to like listen to myself more, but I tend to eat quickly, and then I keep pushing my limit because I'm still like, oh, I'm almost done with this. I can finish this. And it's something that I haven't like quite got through my head yet, that I need to like, all right, put the food down, chew it slowly. Like it's still 3-4 bites because my restriction is really just like it's loosened up a lot.
what helps me with that is sharing plates with somebody else. You know what I mean? Because if you have your own plate, then like we are conditioned to like not leave food on our plates. Like that's just what we do. Like that's how I was raised, and I try to do something different, but it's just so subconscious that I'll keep eating, like trying to finish my plate. So I'll share. Like if I was to go to barbecue or something, I have my kids with me, I'm gonna share a plate with my daughter.
That's a great idea. I'm gonna try that the next time I go. That's actually a really good suggestion. I appreciate
Share a plate
that.
with your wife. Share a plate with somebody else. So that way, like everything that's on the plate is not your responsibility to eat, and and also the other person wants to eat too. So they're gonna be like, all right, but like. So
Juan,
share.
what about you?
Yeah, I'm the worst about that. Like my wife tries to get me to do that, and it's crazy because my old way of thinking comes back, and I'm like, but if I share it with you, then I'm still gonna be hungry, and why I come all this way to do this just to still be hungry again? And she's like, you realize what you're saying, right? And I'm like, well, yeah, but still. And she's like, no, but still. She's like, you're not gonna eat all that. And I'm like, I mean, but I may. And she's like, you don't need to. And I'm like, well, so. That's our constant argument all the time. Every time we go out anywhere, she's like, we need to share a plate, and I'm like, no, we don't. And then at the end, she's like, we should have shared a plate, and I'm like, well, yeah.
So Juan, I learned that your mom is bariatric too. Do you guys tend to share plates together?
Uh,
Oh, don't hear
things or
you.
likings.
Oh, there you
Oh,
go.
can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, but I feel like
I think you're cutting out, friend.
I feel like my portions are getting bigger.
Oh yeah, they definitely get bigger the further you go. Um, what have you found so far? I mean, you're 8 months out. Like, what have you found different from 8 months out to 3 months out as far as like struggling? Because now you've probably had a couple holidays to go through. So those are social settings that are tough as well.
Yeah, a lot of I think having bariatric support, like the panels and all this, like Bari Male Experience, seeing Anna and Kate, the VSG besties, they've given me a lot of like hope, and they help you like not feel alone when you're going through a stall, or you're not losing weight as you would like, because obviously at 8 months out, like I'm stalling right now and I want to lose more weight, but being patient and keeping our protein goals, our water goals, and our vitamins is vital to keep our weight loss in check.
Oh, definitely. And again, we all want to lose. We all see that scale. We want to see that scale move. We want that weight to just keep falling off because we're in a rush. Remember, it took us years to put on all that weight. I mean, and we're losing all that weight so quickly. So to lose as much weight as we do, and everyone is different, to lose as much weight as we've lost is just your body goes into shock. And I mean, it's important to remember that you don't want to lose it too fast because your body is going to freak out because it thinks it's dying at some point. It wants to hold on to what it can, but when it eventually adjusts, I mean, don't just rely on the scale. I'm not sure if you're doing your measurements and like fashion shows, bro. I'm telling you, I've never been into clothes so much until I lost all this weight. So I
Yes,
mean,
yes, I agree.
stand in front of the mirror and pose, man. Strike a pose, brother.
I think the best part was when I was first like um pre-op or post-op, sorry. I was weighing myself every day, like
Yeah.
every 15 minutes. So I think at 1 month is when I met Anna on live, and she's like, stop the scale, like you're gonna be fine, like it's gonna, like your body's in shock, you're not drinking enough water, your body's like holding the fluids. So what I did was I went to my driveway and I grabbed the biggest nail that I found and I broke it. I have not bought another one. I'm 8 months out and I only weigh myself and I go to the doctor.
There you go.
Nice.
That's great. That's awesome. I mean, it took me a year to really get off the scale. I weighed myself religiously for a year, and I weighed myself twice a day. I weighed myself in the morning and I weighed myself in the evening. But I used those tools, and I said I was using it as a tool. I didn't freak out to kind of gauge what I wanted to do the next day and what to move forward. And when I got to about a year, I probably maybe even a little less than a year, when I got to about December, when I stalled out, and I've been the same weight since December. By the time I got to February and I hit my anniversary date, I kind of started to like lean away from going onto the scale because I'm like, all right, my body is kind of settled where it wants to be. If I continually look at it and I'm going to see the same number, I'm going to become obsessive over that one number. If I'm not gaining the weight, then I'm not going to worry about it. If I'm going to notice that I'm gaining weight, it's going to be because my clothes are getting tight.
Right.
So that's when I'll start worrying about it. And I still hear people tell me like, "Oh, have you lost more weight?" And I'm like, "I don't think I have." So, I mean, I weigh myself maybe once every couple weeks, and I'm still sitting at the same weight, which, you know what, isn't a bad thing because it's better than being 425 pounds.
Right. Well, we interviewed Dr. Eric Smith on the podcast not too long ago, and he said something that kind of shook me at the point because we were talking about stalls and things, and he was like, honestly, he's like, what a lot of people don't talk about at some point isn't a stall the point. We want to stall. We want to get to a weight that we can maintain and just stop. That's a stall. So we're gonna have stalls on the way down. But Tony, like what you said, that's legitimately where you ended up in your own little stall, and you're good there. And so, having the having the knowledge to sit back and talk to yourself and say, have that tough conversation and say, you know, this is what I need to do for me. I need to stop weighing because it's going to become a thing. And you put the scale away, and that's awesome. I myself had to change my relationship with the scale too, because me and that bitch broke up for a while because I didn't like how she was acting. So I had to put her in the closet for a little bit. But I had to change the way I was thinking about it because it's data for me. It is a data point for me to look at and see, like you said, if I need to make any kind of changes and go on from there. And it used to affect my entire day. If I got on there and didn't like what I saw, my day was wrecked. If I got on there and loved what I saw, I had a baller ass day. But I had to sit back and think about it like, no, it can't be that way because like my worth is not, there's nothing on that scale that can tell me what my worth is.
Yeah.
The same thing for anything, measurements, clothing, none of that. None of that determines my worth. And I had to quit from letting that happen because it was happening more and more.
Yeah. I mean, the number that bothers me more is my belt size.
Yeah, right.
When my belt size goes up, then I know that I'm probably gaining weight. So that scale doesn't tell me that I'm still not walking 35 flights a day or I'm running for the train, without getting winded. Those are things that, that scale can't measure.
Right.
Rab, what's happening, brother?
Oh, well, just in the Uber on my way back to the hotel. How's everybody doing this evening?
Doing awesome. Tell your Uber driver I said hi.
Do you ever stay still, brother?
Hey, I would if I could. What'd you say, Justice?
I said, do you ever stay still, man? You always on the go, bro. You always on the move.
I do not stay still whatsoever. That's funny you pointed that out. But yeah, I'm always on the move for sure, man. Good to have you guys. Good to see you too.
Rab, how was your vacation, my friend?
My vacation was amazing. I must say the weather was awesome. But I can say the restriction is still alive and awake.
So,
As you all know, I'm about 10 months post-op, and I dumped probably every day I was there, and it's
Oh,
my own
no.
fault. It's my own fault because I gotta be, if I'm not the first to tell you, I won't be the last. While the restriction is real, as I said, um, the addiction is just as real. It's still there. It goes nowhere, and it's lurking, waiting to attack you as soon as that restriction has alleviated. So let that be a warning to those of you on this panel and in the comments, those of you who probably don't already know or already know. Man, I'm telling you, I had my restriction kick in, and despite of getting sick the day before, I would still have to taste that piece of cheesecake to see how far I could push it the next day, and always got the same results.
I'm just really surprised that you would just keep pushing it. I mean, I shouldn't be, but I am. I feel like the amount of cues that we get that we would learn our lesson from it, and I think honestly, our relationship with food really can the telling tale sign of where you are with your relationship with food is where you would put yourself in these type of situations.
But things also change. Visit food sometimes because like 4 months ago I couldn't do it, and then I'm like, let me see how it does now. Usually it's still the same, but I needed to revisit it to see if it has changed. So I mean, I
But it's
Justice over
revisiting it
and
the very
over
next day
and
that
over.
gets me.
Yeah, no, every day of the week, the same thing. I was like, maybe I'll try 2 bites this time. or 3 bites this time. And each time, every single time, like clockwork, yeah, I'm gonna go to the room and sit down for about an hour and a half. I'll get back with y'all. Every single time, no fail. So yeah.
Juan, do you ever feel like you push your luck with when you're eating?
Actually, as a matter of fact, thinking about that, yes, this weekend I went to Applebee's and I ordered myself a burger. And I don't really like to eat out like that. I'm not a really big eater. Like it's like I eat more. I like to just keep at home because I know what I'm eating, right? So I ordered myself a burger and I obviously took off the bread and I started eating the meat. It's been a long time since I've gotten sick and I got real sick and I dumped. I didn't dump, but I puked everything out and it was terrible and I was like, oh, it
Did you
was. I
find
mean,
yourself eating it quickly?
yes, I was starving. I was starving, and I didn't drink anything. So I'm not gonna drink anything. I'm just gonna eat, and then I'll do my water after 30 minutes. And I feel like it was the worst thing I ever did. And you don't. I feel like I didn't expect it because it's been a long time since it's happened, and I'm 8 months out. I would thought maybe by now I would be able to eat better, you know.
Yeah.
Right? It's okay, man. It sounds like you got excited about the burger, and you ate it a little fast. I mean, you could like that's the thing we have to like really analyze. Was it the food or was it how fast I ate the food? Was it the bourbon sauce that was on the food on the burger? You know what I mean? What it's like a bunch of factors, that I have to look at. Like, oh, I ate that burger too fast, so next time
Yeah.
I'm gonna try, but I'm gonna just eat half of it and slowly eat it and see if that works. I mean, it's still
E-
you might still get punished, but at least you'll know, like
Well, that's
You know,
that.
exactly.
I feel like I
That
forget sometimes when I'm a very patient and I want to eat when I was big and it's like I need to remember nope I can't eat that much anymore. I need to eat slow. I need to chew. And then I think the biggest thing is like I try not to order any drink at all because if I don't have the drink, if I have a drink in front of me, I'm so tempted to sip it, and then I don't eat the food. So I need to eat the food and then drink later. That's my biggest, and I'm working on that.
Yeah. It's funny because I think back to things like when I go to a restaurant, I don't eat like that at a restaurant. I sit down, I look at my choices, like I'm very like methodical of like, okay, I'm going to order this. I'm going to all right, I'm going to cut my burger in half or I'm going to eat this portion in half and I'm going to save the other half to bring home. Like I'm very methodical. I get out to a cookout and it's like, oh my God, it's just a table full of food. And it's like, I got a little of this, a little of this. I'm like a kid with a big giant smile on his face. And it's just like, yeah. And it's so hard not to like sit there and you have like that quote unquote fat guy moment where you're just like so excited about what you have in front of you because it's been all winter. You've been in hibernation and now like you're like a bear and you're like ready to mow on all this food. So it's self control is like really like important and like you have to be. I'm not gonna say like it's for everyone, but for me, I need to be very methodical in how I approach like what I put on my plate. And if I'm not consciously thinking about it, I'm going to overdo it like I did this past weekend. Yeah. So there are some other things that you had when we had spoken, Rab. You had some other stuff going on while you were away on vacation. If you want to share that.
I mean, despite the whole the good things, able to fit in an airplane seat, obviously. Yeah, I mean that's all I can think of right now, Tony, as far as like NSVs, but the diet, and the getting sick off of eating things that I probably shouldn't have been eating or drinking definitely played a role and was an eye opener for me, being 10 months post op, that the journey is not even close to being done. It's never over.
Yeah. Well, it's about 8:38, so I'm actually going to take a quick break here, and I'm just going to plug a few things again. We have the Bariatric Society retreat coming up November 7th through the 10th at Paradise Point Resort in San Diego. Check out the link in our bio for the code BME. That gives you $25 off the ticket price, and those tickets will start flying off the shelf the minute they announce who's speaking at this event. There'll be multiple speakers for these events. Also, April 21st, I will be at Fenway Park at Climb for a Cause, trying to help end homelessness in Boston. So if you are interested in joining Team BME or possibly donating to the cause, which I would greatly appreciate for this charity, check out the link in the bio. That is in my bio as well as in the BME bio. Again, Taco Tuesdays, we are on at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific. Catch our sister chat, Talk Barry to Me with VSG Bestie on Sundays at the same times. Barry Unfiltered on Mondays, same times, and the Barry Sisters at 5:30 West Coast time and 8:30 East Coast, and all the times in between on Wednesdays. So, Rab's still there?
Yeah, I'm still here, Tony.
All right. So, where are you now in Boston?
I don't even know.
Are you in the tunnel?
No, I think I went through some tunnels. Are we going? Yeah, I'll probably end up going through that crazy tunnel here eventually.
One of those tunnels, you're underwater, so
Yeah.
hope you're not claustrophobic.
Oh, social settings, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about social settings. When I it's crazy because you all will see some of my content when I'm dancing around. You'll see me dancing, no problem. I get down, you know. But when I get out in front of people and there's a crowd, I really wanted to get on stage and do like a karaoke and dance around. It's not happening. My mind will not allow me to do it. Even though, Justice, I see the look on your face. Even though I know I can jump out there and get down, I just won't do it because I'm so worried about what people think, and it's like stuck in my head up until now. Even though I've lost a substantial amount of weight, even though I feel really good about myself, I feel like I look good. I feel like there's nothing wrong with me or whatever. But when you get me out in front of people, and it's time to throw down, I get shook up. I get stuck. And I haven't gotten over it. And I thought I really did because of doing the content, doing the videos and what have you, dancing around and jumping around in the pool, or even being on this panel, talking to you all the time. When I get out in front of people, I lock up, man. It's so strange. I don't know if anyone else has experienced that.
Yes, I won't lie. I mean, honestly, when I was larger, it was easier for me to get out there and not so much embarrass myself, but it was easier because I would be half in the bag because I'd be drinking alcohol, and it would, a little bit of liquid courage never hurt anybody. But yeah, self-conscious now, yeah, definitely. Like that comfortability of just being like, oh yeah, Tony, he's the fun guy. I'm not the fun guy anymore. I'm not. I'm not like I still have that personality, but like to just get a little bit more out of my comfort zone without a little bit of taste of alcohol to like push me into it is it's a lot different.
Yeah.
How about you guys?
Yeah, that's how I've been feeling. I'm 11 days without any alcohol. I'm trying to do the whole 30 days. And I'm trying to do at least 30 days. But I just realized that it was getting to a place that, like, any type of setting where I wanted to be confident, I was wanting to drink in order to be like my most confident self. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
So, um, and then, you know, with me dating, and I was like in a relationship, I also realized that, like, also my romantic side, you know what I mean? Like when it's time to, like, you know, get busy or whatever, I needed alcohol for that too. You know what I mean? Because when I was big, I was so self-conscious about my size and stuff like that, so that, like, when it came time to, like, you know, go there with a woman, and let's be real, for men there's a lot of performance anxiety. You know what I mean? There's a lot of performance anxiety. And so I would drink because, you know, after you drink, it's like, all right, you ready, you know? And but when, and that was okay when I was single because I, you know, wasn't on a daily basis. But then when I got in a relationship, like, it's on a daily basis. You can't drink every single day to, you know, to have
No,
happy time,
not in
you
this
know?
condition anymore. But you also realize that when you drink, you become more vulnerable. So it's easier for you to open up and let your guard down. I mean, we're still guarded because we're still conscious of like our surroundings. Our inhibitions are still, our walls are still up when we're not drinking. And even just for that short period of time that you drink, I mean, you let your guard down. You're more vulnerable and you're more willing to put yourself out there no matter the situation. So it's definitely different because I don't drink as much as I used to, and I don't really drink like that anymore either. So to be vulnerable is very like hard, and like I feel like being on here has helped me do that more. But that's because I'm comfortable with obviously I have all my boys in front of me here. Um, to sit there and talk to my wife is different to be vulnerable, and that's something that I still work on. Juan, how about you, my friend?
Going back to what you were talking about, yes. I feel like before it was different. I mean, I feel like now the body dysmorphia really, it's different. Like now, like before, what I thought was normal, now I'm like, oh, like I'm, I try to, I'm more nervous, more shy. It could also be that I have ADHD, so it's just normal. But I feel like, um, it's more than ever now, the body dysmorphia is a big thing. It catches me all the time, and I feel like it's normal, especially um, since I was big and now I'm healthier me. I feel like it's more conscious of what's going on than before.
Yeah. Have you? What are there things that you try to do to combat that? Do you try to like put yourself out there more?
I feel like being in group chats and being in the lives with the Barry community, it helps a lot because we're going through a lot of the same things. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
not 100% up to the T like everybody else, but I feel like joining and listening to lives and being part of the community and putting and talking with the actual Barry community, it really helps out because some of us are very introverted and some of us are very extroverted, and it helps a lot to be able to see how other people are going through the same thing and they're also bariatric, whether they had VSG or they had SAED or they had dual dental or they had Roux-en-Y. It all ends up like around the same thing, that we're all berries and we all have a lot of body dysmorphia, which is not the nicest thing to have.
So I want to know down in the comments who, what do you do to try to combat the body dysmorphia if you struggle with it, what do you do to put yourself out there? Or are there different things? Are there things that you struggle with that you didn't struggle with before that after weight loss surgery you found difficult to do? What do you do to combat that, and what are the things that you struggle with?
Here's one thing that that question caught my eye. Finding something to wear.
Yeah.
Before I would put on whatever was in my closet. Now, like before I head anywhere, I have like 20 shirts and like 5 pants on my bed, and it's like oh, but this pant doesn't do the thing, and then this belt didn't do the right thing, or the shoes, I didn't like them. I feel like more than ever now, I'm more conservative of how I dress. And I wish I wasn't. Like, I'm trying to work with that, but it's like every time when I get home and I'm hanging up all the clothes back in the closet. Issue.
Rab, how about you, buddy? Still with me? There you are.
I'm with you, but I didn't hear what the question was, Tony.
So we're like, what are the things that you do to are there things that you do to try to combat like the whole body dysmorphia or just that feeling of uncomfortability that you now experience now after weight loss? Like, are there things that you're doing to try to put yourself out there to become more comfortable so it normalizes itself?
No. I tell you, I talk about it. I think about it all the time. I didn't really notice that I really had body dysmorphia until over the past couple of weeks. Like I haven't been paying any attention to it. And then when I get into the conversations that we've had here lately about body dysmorphia and talking about plastics, and then bariatric bro doing what he did, and like I'm just watching all these things happening, and then my time at the pool, out at the beach, felt completely comfortable with my shirt off, but not really. And then being worried about, like I said, dancing in front of people and hanging out with people and stuff like that in a social um, environment. Man, I had no idea uh, the effect of body dysmorphia until here recently. And
Snuck up
I
on you,
find
huh?
myself a lot of, I find myself, yeah, I found myself, yeah, I got tan. Uh, Forcing myself. I force myself to get through it. Like whether how uncomfortable I feel or not, I have been forcing myself, and it's good that I've come to terms with that. It's an NSV for me. Is that realizing now that I have something I need to work on when it comes to body dysmorphia and being accepted in the environment, and knowing, it's messed up when you know that people can give two shits about you. They don't have time to be worried about what they don't even know you. They don't
But it
care
still
about
bothers
what,
you.
but it still bothers you. It's still, and knowing it and still it's the same with even if we were taking it back to the other things we were talking about with like eating stuff when you shouldn't be eating because of the restriction, knowing it and you still do it.
Yeah.
That's part of the problem, and that, ladies and gentlemen, will, yep, I also told my therapist Jay, that's where I was going. That is where I think I could use some therapy in my life.
Do you have a banana hammock on your head?
I do have a banana hammock on my head.
Look at that thing. That is bright, my friend.
Hey, Justice, I know you like it, Justice Kane.
Oh, Kango.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
I love it. I love it. I knew we couldn't go a show without you throwing at least a scally on.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. It's a beautiful place out there, man. But yeah, and that's how I deal with body dysmorphia. I'm forcing myself through it.
But I'm happy that you recognize it because a lot of things again like you notice it snuck up on you because it snuck up on me and I fought with it for a while and I didn't talk about it. And all of a sudden it got to the point where it was like I had to start talking about it because I needed to start recognizing it because I kept lying to myself that it was happening. And obviously, and count it as an NSV because recognizing things that you need to work on is important because you'll never work on them if you don't recognize what you have going on.
Right.
If you choose to ignore things, it's you're right back in the same boat as you were before when you chose to ignore the fact that you were slowly putting weight on and you you were eating the extra, 5 donuts in the box, and you chose to ignore the fact that you probably shouldn't be eating it. So, I mean, recognition is a big thing, and taking action is even more important after you
Yeah,
recognize.
Jay says it can say it better. I feel not tackling the body issues because it can lead me towards all the ish I've been leaving behind. Right, right. Got to get to it now, right? While
Yeah.
we can.
I mean, and it's important, especially early on in your journey, because the further you get out, the harder I feel like it's going to be for me, at least,
Mm.
if I don't start tackling things. And, while we still have a few minutes left, I had my therapist appointment, and I know I've been talking a lot about it. I had it on last Friday. And again, it was that eye opening moment of, I've been missing out on this. Why didn't I do this sooner? Because I tackled a bunch of stuff that I didn't think I was going to tackle. And my therapist is awesome because he actually brought up the fact that I have other traumas that I spoke about in our initial, from our very first meeting. And he's like, I mean, he manages the whole food part, but he's like, if you want to work on the other things that you have going on, like the trauma that I have from my childhood, then I can suggest another therapist, or I can give you a list to choose from so you could pick your own. So I appreciated that he wasn't going to push, someone on me, and he gave me the option of choosing who I wanted. But he said if I couldn't find someone, he would be more than happy to find someone for me, and until I found someone that would work. So he was already ahead of the game when he was already offering the help out there. So I'm actually scheduling an appointment to see him again, and I'm actually looking through the resources that he sent to me so I could find a therapist to go through a lot of the other trauma that I dealt with when I was younger.
Yeah, AJ, is there any way to get past the body dysmorphia? And then Regs, my therapist said something very similar yesterday about early trauma. Chef Russ, I need to get back into therapy. I just really hate interviewing the new therapist. I cannot stand it, and that's what's been holding me back. The I know, and is there any way to get past body dysmorphia? That's a damn good question.
Well, one of the things that one of my spiritual teachers has showed me is that like those negative thoughts and everything, those are what we call party poopers. And
Yeah.
so being the observer of our own experience can help make it not be so jarring, because instead of like owning those thoughts and owning those thoughts that are coming in your head, the negative beat up thoughts and stuff, it's just observing it and watching, like, okay, I'm having these thoughts right now. Like, I'm having these thoughts that are not of love, that are not of kindness to myself, and just observing it, letting it come and go, because it's ebb and flow. You know what I mean? It's ebb and flow, just like we feel good. You know, the way I do it is, and that's probably not the healthiest, but when I do feel good, I dive into that. Like when I'm having days that I feel like sexy or feel good, because women get to do that. You know what I mean? Women get to like feel sexy. And so when you have days that you're feeling your best, really own it. You know what I mean? Really own it and embrace it. Take pictures of yourself. Like stand in that energy, because it's not going to be there forever. So enjoy it when it comes and then let it go. You know, everything is just ebb and flow. As it comes, it leaves like clouds. I'm
Yeah.
being hippie. I'm being hippie right now.
No,
It's true.
if
Yeah. Go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Tom. No, I've seen a lot of Justice content, and he's talked about a lot of this, spiritual, if it's not spiritual, but groups where you get engaged through, and you could talk more about it, Justice, but I've been paying attention to it, and I'm completely interested. I love stuff like that, really get in touch with the mind, the soul, and I'm all about it. So, yeah,
Well,
I'm just,
when
go
we do
ahead.
when I come up with you guys, and that's in May, I think. When I come up with you guys, we're gonna definitely tap into that, tap into some of the plant medicines that I use, because there's Western therapy, and then there's other forms of therapy and things that we can do to do the shadow work. Everything doesn't have to be sitting in a room and paying somebody. Nothing wrong with that, but there's other methods too. So.
Yeah, there are alternative ways to Western thought and medicine and stuff. I mean, things that have been around for thousands of years, millions of years, that people have done before we decided to genetically modify everything. So, but
Yeah, I'm
again,
looking forward.
we got about 2 minutes left. Any closing thoughts from the guys up on the panel here?
Love you guys. I'm
And
gonna go
hey,
get.
good talking
Thank you
to
for
you,
coming
Thank you
up.
Justin.
I
so
hope you
much, the
feel
Bari
better,
Male
brother.
Experience, and Tony and Rob. It was amazing getting to talk to y'all tonight. Thank y'all for inviting me up.
Oh,
Juan,
Thank you
thanks
for
for being.
coming up, man. We see you in the comments every week, man. We appreciate you being there. We appreciate your support, and we're glad that you're coming up. And I'm glad that you're becoming vocal. And I like hearing your point of view, man.
Thank you. Thank you. Y'all have a good night. Bye.
Bye. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.
I made it, man. I'm
You
sorry.
made
I
it.
really.
Hey, you know what, dude? You still showed up. You were on a plane
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
through the tunnels of Boston, and you still made it.
Yeah. Crawling
That's
myself
commitment, my
back.
friend.
Hey, you all, don't forget to catch up with our sister chat, VSG Bestie, Talk Buried to Me every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that will be 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Yes, it is dedication. I love this community, VSG Bestie. I will not miss it if it would save my life. I'm gonna be here as much as I possibly can be. Like I said, to all, there's no limit that I wouldn't give back to this. Myself and Tony wouldn't give back to this community as much as the community gives to us. So for sure. Uh, yeah, meet up with VSG Bestie, Talk Buried to Me Sunday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. Every Taco Tuesday with Tony and I, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific on Tuesdays. Uh, follow, subscribe, YouTube, YT. Hope they don't kick me off for that, but hey, we're over there. If you miss any episodes or any lives that you wanted to connect with, we're there. Thank you so much for the 25,000 likes. Way to hold it down, Tony. Way to hold
Yes.
it down.
Honestly, I'm so glad you joined us, because we can't end Bari Male Experience without the signature goodbye.
Well, also, we can't end um, live with Bari Male Experience without thanking our moderators as well, that BBSG
Yeah.
Bestie, Maria, and our own
Regs get
Regs
smaller.
Gets Smaller.
Who
Love
is
y'all. Appreciate
is
y'all.
the tech man. So we appreciate that he's been behind the scenes, making sure that all that stuff goes up on YouTube and making sure that we're streaming on multiple platforms. So much love to
Appreciate
everyone. Much love to the moderators.
Next week we got
Fade away, Ryan.
Fade Away Ryan. That's gonna be awesome.
So yeah, back to a guest and changing up the format again. But we appreciate the last few weeks of everyone listening to me jaw about basically anything and everything. So
That's right.
You want to take us out, buddy?
Yeah, thanks for coming out and hanging out with us, y'all. I'm sorry I was late. Thank you for the 26,000 likes. We'll see you all again next Taco Tuesday. Back in it to win it. Peace,
Love.
and soul.
Later, brother.